me live, and to those that be joining me and Calix on Archive. I'm ready to go 12 rounds of Calix right now. All right, utilize my jab right here. I mean, I got this.
Pop, 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 pop.
Block. You see, I blocked all the shots, bro. All of them were blocked.
Uppercut.
Yeah. Sound like David Alexander over here doing the pop for everything. But
hit the like button. Hit the like button.
Yeah, make sure you throw a jab. Throw a jab at the like button. All right, let's get the likes up. In fact, this time I'm gonna keep an eye on it. You guys slacked it hardcore yesterday on the likes. The likes, dude. Like the jab was not being utilized. All right, you guys got to start utilizing that jab. Okay, start utilizing that jab. All right,
utilize it.
But here we are. What's the most important punch in boxing, Calix?
The jab. The
jab. The jab sets everything up. It sets up that right cross to that subscribe button and that uppercut to that bell button. Okay, that way you're notified every time DStyleBoxing comes on live, especially on Wednesdays during Calcast. Check it out. Calix wasn't here last week, and it's his fault. I had to destroy the UK last week. Okay,
because you didn't show love to the UK. What's going on?
Well, not the UK. I shouldn't say that. The Eddie Hearn fanatics. How about that? All right.
Yeah.
You know,
Eddie Hearn deserves a good beating right now, though.
Well, speaking of beatings, I mean, Kelly Pavlik, Glenn Johnson, and I wouldn't really say Tapia, but you know, they're taking quite a beating right now, Calix. This is the polls right now. 56 people have voted. Johnny Tapia has joined the field here. The babyface is 27%. Kelly Pavlik hanging on like by dear life with 12%. The Punisher Williams finally got 55%, over 50%. And Glenn Johnson, bro, at the brink of elimination. I mean, Glenn Johnson might be bye-bye in the second week. What are your thoughts, Calix? Who'd you vote for? And, what are your thoughts?
I voted for my boy, the Punisher. I would love for him to have a week. A lot to talk about there. I'm hoping Kelly Pavlik gets over that 10%, though, so he can move on to his fourth week and try to stay alive. I'd like to see him get a week as well, but I'm kind of thinking he's not going to get a week. Pavlik.
I don't know. He's hanging on. Pavlik, I mean, even Williams had some of those weeks where he had 12%. You know, then again, Williams went up against like Roy Jones and
Evander Holyfield.
Right, Pavlik.
By the way, this week is brought to you by not Sharpie. Red Solo Cup. Cup.
Oh, come on, bro. My Sharpie, I almost lost the feed, bro. You see that shit? I dropped my computer. All right, but all right, we're still live though, right? Dude, my Sharpie, like, and Red Solo Cups are like peanut butter and jelly, bro.
That is true.
Right? Like, you know, like kids' parties, and what do? You get that cup, and you get a Sharpie, and you write a name on it. Okay. Here, little Billy, this is your cup. You're not going to touch any other cup. Okay, here you go.
Right. Billy's got to get his own cup. That's true.
Yeah. Well, what, Melissa? No, we're going to write down your name right here. Okay. Alejandra, what? No, we'll write down your name right here. Okay.
I know.
And then kids get mad at you when you don't spell their name right. Like, we're supposed to know. Especially with parents nowadays, name their like they use normal names, but they spell it uniquely. Have you noticed that shit?
Yeah, no.
Like, what's my name? Your name? Oh, my name is Brittany. Oh, okay. You write it on the red cup, you know?
That's Brittany with 4 N's.
Yeah. Like, that's how you spell my name, Mom. Like, what? Like, what the hell's going on? Like,
Brittany with an I. Brittany with an I at the end. Like, what?
Yeah. Or no I and Y. It's like it doesn't have anything. You know.
I know.
All right. What's up to DJ Mexicano de Tejas? Woodson says Dragon style is going old school. Calix AK Sledgehammer says haplotype. All right. Calix is missing that Rocky theme music, by the way. Okay. On some of those recent videos, man. You're missing the Rocky theme. I don't know if you can see this.
I got some more coming for y'all tomorrow. I'm going to have to try to get the theme in there.
See that? Okay. You got to get it in there. Get it in there. Calcast TV. What's good, homie? Says E. Woodson. Bam tweets says, salute, chat, haplotype D. Blood Corpse Gamer. Hey, what's up, bro? What's going on? And, of course, what's good? Everyone says G-Funk84. I did a show yesterday with him. Make sure you guys check that show out.
The G-Funk era.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you guys check that show up. I know we didn't talk about the big fight, okay, but it's still an important fight about El Gallo. Okay, make sure you go check that out, by the way. All right. Plus, I play with a puppet. I don't know if Calix has seen the puppets yet. You better get the puppets.
I've seen the puppets. You brought the puppets back. I like it.
Absolutely. And with that said, it looks like the Punisher's going to win, Calix. And it looks like he's going to advance more than likely, although you never know. Johnny Tapia might come out of nowhere and win, right? But first of all, what are your thoughts of Johnny Tapia being on the pole?
I like him being on the pole. I just think that it depends on who gets in there next week. But it's looking like he's going to advance in the second week. To me, that's what it looks like. I'm interested to see who you're going to roll out next week. But I'm glad to see the Punisher getting his props here, and I'm interested to see how he's going to do under the big lights next week.
The big lights has Cotto on his 5th week.
Oh, come on.
Hopkins on his 6th week.
Ooh.
Okay. And then, of course, Wink, you're right about, I think, his 3rd or 4th week. Flirting with it, too.
How is Cotto in his 5th week? What are you people doing?
By the way, Cal, who do you vote? Are you going to vote for Cotto? You're not going to like Hopkins, bro, is like a legend, bro.
He is, but I'm still voting for Cotto.
You know why I think you're voting for Cotto? Why a lot of people, like haplotypes, they're just going to vote for Cotto, okay? Let me tell you why. Because, man, look at this poll, bro. Johnson might be gone and Pavlik might be gone. And then Williams is going to win. We're going to add 3 dudes. That's very possible. And then the winner of that poll is going to go next week. And who knows who Cotto's going to go up against.
Right.
So, but hey, man, it's a 6th week for the executioner. That's gonna be the most exciting. I think it's the most unpredictable poll that we're gonna have in quite some time. I think the Evander Holyfield, Roy Jones was just like a ceremonial poll. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all kind of knew. It was like how dominant is he gonna win? It's gonna be a very interesting poll. That's gonna be fun, and it's also gonna be Evander Holyfield week. Really quick, Alex. Evander Holyfield got his week. Well, what are your thoughts?
That's another guy. It's like these legends that you're rolling out, they have like 3 or 4 careers within a career. Like you got Evander Holyfield, like Usyk's trying to do what Evander Holyfield did. Well, I don't care. I don't count the later stuff when he was fighting these guys, and like really early 2000s. That's when it really started to go downhill for Holyfield as far as the losses and the draws come. At least in the early 2000s, though, he was fighting stiff competition. But then after that, it went really downhill, where he started to fight some average heavyweights who were ranked in the top 5, maybe top 10, but they were average in the average division and just was not looking good, and hung on until 2011. It actually felt like he was fighting after 2011. I thought he retired like 14, 15. But it's been 8 years. Legend. I love the 90s Holyfield. That's my Holyfield right there, is the 90s Holyfield. 80s Holyfield, obviously the cruiserweight division, but you can't be a star in the cruiserweight division, right? They say about the cruiserweight division that the cruiserweights are too late.
It's the opposite of the UFC, bro. Like in the UFC, it's all about the light heavyweight division, and in boxing, it's the heavyweight. Like they're reversed, bro. But both sports gotta make up their mind.
Right. They say about the cruiserweight division, these cruiserweights are too lazy to make light heavy and maybe not strong enough to make heavy.
I don't think that's true.
I think that's a bit harsh for the most part. But Evander Holyfield and Usyk's going to be a guy, too, that the heavyweight division, they're not too small for that division. They're strong enough for that division. They can hang with those heavyweights. And Holyfield definitely proved that. For that decade in the 90s, man. He's one of those guys that just fought everybody, right? Fought Michael Moore twice, fought Foreman, fought Buster Douglas, fought Tyson twice. Early 2000s, he fought Lennox Lewis twice. I mean, who else is in that mix? Ray Mercer, Riddick Bowe. He had the Riddick Bowe trilogy. I mean, oh my God. I mean, he lost some fights, but he was in there with all those guys. And I think I read Teddy Atlas's book, dude, a couple of years ago. I don't know if you read that book. Yeah. Incredible book. But he wrote up in that story that the first Michael Moore fight, Evander Holyfield, Teddy Atlas says anyway, had a heart attack basically in his corner early in the fight and still went the distance with Michael Moore.
Wow.
I mean, that guy's heart was incredible.
That's actually one of the reasons he was a huge underdog. Dude, I don't want to dive too much into it because if we start talking about Holyfield, we'll be here for 5 hours.
You know?
But it's his whole heart condition thing was one of the reasons he's such a major underdog in that first Tyson fight.
Yeah,
he was considered like a dude that shouldn't be fighting anymore back then. That is insane. But with that said, man, that's going to be a hell of a week, and we're going to have that poll out. It's going to be very, very interesting, man, dude. What are your thoughts on this saga, man? I talked to death about this, but I want to know what you think. Okay, I want to know what you think about the fighterless press conference. Okay, and if you ever seen something like that, I want to know what you think about Andy Ruiz turning down the fight in Saudi Arabia, saying I ain't gonna go to Saudi Arabia. Okay, okay, call me when you give me a serious offer, Eddie Hearn. What's your thoughts on this, and what's your thoughts on Joshua just he just changed his personality all of a sudden, and now he's like talking shit to Lennox, and he's just,
I know. More on that in a minute, but first of all, I don't understand the whole Saudi Arabia thing, because to me, the fight doesn't belong in Saudi. I wouldn't fight in Saudi Arabia. I wouldn't leave the States and fight an Eddie Hearn fighter, period, wherever it is at this moment, after seeing the last debacle that happened over there. But I don't understand. Maybe you have more information than I do. Did Ruiz sign a contract to fight in Saudi Arabia? Because I would not. If I'm Ruiz, this fight happens in the States. I am a huge draw at this point. Ruiz is a huge draw, right? I mean, a big draw. He won the fight. He's the champion. He's already given up the lion's share of the money. Anthony Joshua is still going to be have most of the money, the big percentage of money. So I should at least get to say where the location is or where it's close to. If you don't want to come to LA, I mean, at least let's do it in Vegas or New York or something, but at least keep it in the States. I don't understand the Saudi Arabia thing. Probably don't have to pay taxes out there, probably get to keep most of their money, all that, neutral site. I get that, but Saudi Arabia is Saudi Arabia. And why would, if Ruiz signed a contract to fight in Saudi Arabia, to me, it has to happen there at this point, right? No. And why would he have signed that and then back out?
But my thing is, right, that Eddie Hearn thought this fight, first of all, they didn't plan on Joshua losing this fight, okay? That's number one. But if he had lost, okay, from their perspective, right, it was going to be in England. That's why right after the fight, if you remember, he said, we're going to go to Cardiff, the rematch, blah, 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 right? Right now, Andy Ruiz has bargaining power. He has that beating he gave him. Okay, if you want to avenge it, you got to fight me. And He also has all the belts. He's got that bargaining power. So at best, the rematch clause says you got to fight at the location we pick. The problem is that he picked Eddie Hearn's own mouth, he said, we didn't want to deal with the headache, so he picked a neutral site, and they picked Saudi Arabia. They've announced Saudi Arabia, right? The problem is no judge is going to force Andy Ruiz, okay, to go to Saudi Arabia to fight. Well, especially when it's on the list of countries that you're recommended not to go to, all right? So there's no way. And law supersedes any contract. So I think he dug himself in a big hole. I've been saying that for a while. I said it before Bob Arum said it, but Bob Arum did come out and say it. He's basically said the same thing, only he went further than me. He called Eddie Hearn a stupid moron. Like what an idiot. But
the rematch, did it have to happen immediately? Because I was going to say, if you're Ruiz's handler, say you're his promoter, to me, the smart play would be have him defend his belt against a fringe top 10 guy or even a guy outside of the top 10 at the Staples Center. Right. Have sort of a homecoming fight there, celebrate your championship, and get a nice payday there, sell out the Staples Center, and then do the rematch. Why not do something like that? Why are we rushing straight into, and don't get me wrong, as a fan, I love that they're rushing into the rematch, but if I'm Ruiz's handler, it seems like they're not exactly steering him in the right direction here with signing a contract to fight in Saudi Arabia. First of all, why would you even ink something like that? And going straight into the rematch, I'm not sure. But I just don't like what I'm hearing from both camps right now, because Joshua, he's a very unlikable guy all of a sudden. I don't like what he said about Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis took the high road. I just don't like Anthony Joshua is coming off as just an entitled prick right now. But also, I don't know if you've caught some of the articles that have been coming out. Ruiz's trainer expected him in the gym Monday and said he didn't see him in the gym Monday. Was supposed to show up to camp on Monday to start losing some weight. Apparently, there's a lot of rumors that Ruiz is enjoying himself right now and is getting a little heavier. And but he's got 4 months to work that stuff out. But when you start to hear stuff like this coming from his trainer, the trainer said he's only heard from him a couple times since the fight. You don't like what you hear when you hear stuff like that. But I don't like what I'm hearing out of both camps. I don't know how focused both fighters are right now, and Joshua just seems to be all over the place. I don't like his personality. Maybe that's scripted. Maybe that's what he's going for now. Maybe he's trying to alienate people and become like more of like a Floyd Mayweather character. Love me or hate me, but he's very hateable right now.
Well, shout out to Clifton Bronson and E. Woodson, Blood Corpse Gamer. Woodson said, I never believed that crap. Who really is going to hold a heavyweight championship fight in freaking Arabia, Saudi Arabia? It's at the end of the day, they can't force him to go, man. But in terms of what you're saying, man, look, Andy Ruiz, bro, he needs to get serious here. You know what I mean? We don't need this to be another Buster Douglas situation where he won the heavyweight championship of the world and he partied a little too much. Okay, he just went on another tour in Mexico and all this with the press and all that, but he's on planes to Mexico and back, and he's getting a lot of love. And last I heard from his trainer is he wants that dude secluded somewhere, back in training, back focused. So we will see how it goes, man. We will see how it goes. Hopefully Andy Ruiz does not, think it's a foregone conclusion he's going to win again, because he's got to train for this fight, because I'm sure Joshua is, But if it happens, it's going to be a while, man. It's going to be a while. I don't know why Anthony Joshua was talking shit about Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis in his prime would knock the crap out of Anthony Joshua. Yeah, definitely.
Show respect to your elders, man. Show respect to the people who paved the way. Like Lennox is up here. Joshua's down here. Joshua hasn't accomplished anything close to even put Lennox's name in his mouth.
Well, some of his fans, bro. You should hear some of his fans.
I know. He's the greatest ever. Oh my God.
No, they're saying that. Well, that too, but they're saying that Lennox is the one that's been attacking Anthony Joshua. Do you recall the time he was attacking him?
He wasn't. He's a commentator. He says stuff, but everything that Lennox has said has, from what I've seen, has been fair and mostly directed towards Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn seems to be twisting stuff. And maybe Joshua isn't seeing what Lennox is really saying, but everything I've seen from Lennox has been fair and not all that critical, to be honest. He hasn't been all that critical to Joshua. So to me, he just seems like maybe he just has some thin skin. I don't know. But he's not acting like a guy who's just coming off of a loss. He's still acting like a guy who's entitled. And
by the way, you don't need to focus on some old retired fighter. Right, you need to focus on Andy Ruiz. You need to focus on right. 88 Sports Talk. What's going on? But he signed a contract, bro. That's what people are saying. He signed a contract.
That's the part I don't get though. Like, why? Who's advising him to sign a contract to fight in Saudi Arabia, and then
he never signed a contract saying he's going to go to Saudi Arabia.
He never signed that. Okay.
No, first off, this fight was never signed. The dude showed up, and not even Joshua had signed. They didn't even find his press conferences in Saudi Arabia, bro. It's unheard of. How do you show up and the fighters aren't there? Like to make it official. Isn't that the whole point of a press conference?
I know Joshua didn't even show up.
Yeah, Joshua was like, I ain't gonna show my face. And why was Joshua saying he'll beat up Andy Ruiz in Tijuana if he has to, when he knew his promoter already had the Saudi Arabia thing done?
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't fight in Saudi. I'm not fighting in Saudi Arabia, especially if I'm the heavyweight champion. We fight. At least give me the choice of a country. You know,
Yeah.
we don't have to fight in LA. At least do it in the States.
Let me pick a continent, Eddie, like North
Right.
America. There we go. Okay.
North America, anywhere in North America, you pick. You want to fight in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Let's do it. Not Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, get the hell out of here. With that said, all right, we'll move on before YouTube flags me for making certain jokes. But tell you what, there's going to be a big fight, man, this weekend. It's not being talked about that much. This is Sergey Kovalev, the Crusher, the ranked number 1 according to BoxRec light heavyweight in the world. I kind of agree with that. He's a WBO champion right now, 33-3-1, 28 wins coming by way of knockout. That's a 76% KO ratio. That is really good. He's lost twice by knockout. We know the second, the rematch against Ward, the body shots, and of course the against Alvarez, not to be confused with Canelo Alvarez, right? But he did avenge that loss. However, he's 6 feet tall, man, 72 and a half inch reach for Sergey Kovalev, and he's going to be fighting Anthony Yarde. He's number 1 in the UK, 13th in the world. He is a WBO Intercontinental Champion. All right. He's 18-0. He's got 17 knockouts. That's a 94% KO ratio. He has 16 straight knockouts. It was his second pro fight. And you know how they fight a few rounds when you first start out? 6 feet tall. Don't have a reach listed for him. That's smart for a fighter to do, by the way, while they're moving up. Not let anybody know the reach. And then, of course, we got this fight lined up. By the way, this is the biggest world champion versus intercontinental champion fight. The biggest since Hulk Hogan, okay, the world champion versus the Ultimate Warrior, bro, the intercontinental champ. All right? That's right.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The WrestleMania 6, bro. Okay, the intercontinental champion was the Ultimate Warrior. We got this in boxing. Boxing's got intercontinental champions now.
Yeah.
All right? That's right. So
and franchise champions. Franchise champions, too.
But in fairness, Intercontinental is a stepstone belt, right? And that's why he's fighting Sergey Kovalev in all seriousness. What are your thoughts on this fight, man?
I love it. Love the fight. Have you seen the odds on this fight? They're getting closer and closer and closer.
I've not seen the odds. Talk to us about the odds.
This week, the money's coming in. And usually when the odds start getting closer like that, the smart money's coming in on Yarde. Vegas is giving Yarde a lot of respect. I always want to call him Yarde, but Yarde,
Right.
I think I know what they see, but as far as the odds go,
by the way, not to cut you off, Calix, but we need the likes, guys. Jab that like button right now. Throw a jab at the like button. Go ahead, Calix.
Jab it, hook it, whatever you want to do, but hit it. Yeah, I saw this morning that Kovalev's minus 170 and Yarde is plus 145 or something like that. So Yarde's getting respect, man. He is I mean, this is getting close to almost toss-up territory. He's getting respect from smart bettors, and I think I know why. Several things going on here. There's a few reasons why I'm leery to pick him by upset, but let's talk about why Yarde can very much pull off this upset. Number one, very good counterpuncher, and he's patient, but he can also go on the offensive. He can walk you down. So he has a lot of the Andre Ward thing going on to where he's a versatile fighter, can do multiple things, but that counterpunching, man, and he can punch. He's a very heavy puncher. He can hit you, and he goes to the body. And he's a very good with the left hook counter punch. The only thing that I worry about is, okay, he's been in there with 18 guys who aren't great. The competition hasn't been great. So what happens when Kovalev hits him in his chin? And Yarde, whatever you want to call him, if you've watched him fight, he keeps the left hand very, very low because he's always ready to counter. But he is very good with countering with that left. And we know that Kovalev loads up on that right hand. So that's what I'm interested in seeing, is that battle right there between Kovalev's right hand and Yarde's left hook counter. Because if Kovalev loads up too much and keeps that right hand out there, Yarde will tag him with that counter left hook. But this guy is very much a live dog and could pull off this upset. Two wild cards are two things that I'm afraid to pull the trigger on Yarde with the upset. The reason being, one, the fight's in Russia. So if it goes to the cards, we already know what's going to happen. Although I don't think it's going to go to the cards. Two, I don't know what his chin is like. All right, what's going to happen when he gets hit by an elite puncher, right? So
yes,
that's what I'm worried about as far as him. But he can win this fight, man. To me, this is almost a toss-up fight. I mean, pretty much. And that sharp money, that smart money is coming in on Yarde right now because they see all the things that we've seen. Andre Ward laid the blueprint, all right? You get aggressive. You walk him down. You get cagey with him, get him frustrated because he's a head case. Kovalev, extremely talented, huge puncher, but he's a head case. So if you get in his head, you throw a couple low blows, you get in there, you get cagey with him, rough him up a little bit, walk him down, and you go to the body. And that's what I like from Yarde, is he is a good body puncher. So a guy with heavy hands who can go to the body and who doesn't mind to go. He's a natural counter puncher to me. He starts off trying to counter punch, but if he has to walk you down, he'll try to do that. So I like Yarde a lot, and I like this fight. This is going to be a tough fight for Kovalev, and it's very much a risk. He's taking a risk here because Aram said he turned down 10 figures, or not Aram, Kovalev said that in an interview today. He said he turned down 8 figures, around 10 million, 10 to 12 million to fight Canelo for this fight, because he said it was too late in the game for him to pay Yarde, step aside money. He was already selling tickets in his home country. So he didn't want to step away from this fight and go after the Canelo fight. But he's very much taking a risk because from everything I'm reading, the Kovalev-Canelo fight is all but made for later in the year if Kovalev gets past this fight. But this is going to be a tough fight because even if he wins, he could very much get cut or hurt in this fight. So he's taking a risk big time.
Yeah, he's definitely taking a risk, man. A couple of observations from these two guys. Okay. One, Kovalev's jab is going to be very important in this fight. Okay. Kovalev has a really good straight down the pipe jab that he could utilize. And his counters are very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He caught Ward with a counter. Yeah. Okay. And almost put him out early in that first fight. Now, Ward is a cagey fighter, elusive fighter. So, other people use different adjectives, but I'm a fan of Ward, right? But, we know what that's about. Now, can Anthony Yarde recover if he gets caught like that? I'm not too sure, man. Right? Because the one thing about Yarde, look, yes, his body work is phenomenal, right? And it hurts guys, but he's open. He's open to a counter upstairs when he goes to the body.
Yep.
And yes, it's like a double-edged sword. He can hurt Kovalev to the body and stop him, wear him down. But Kovalev could counter him upstairs. Also, Yarde, he does that kind of his version of a shell. I don't know if we could call it a Philly, UK shell, I guess. All right. But, I think that's really dangerous with Kovalev, man. Like, I think Kovalev's jab's going to be very important here. Kovalev's not a big body puncher, but Yarde is going to have to. The thing with the shell, you got to be good with your feet or very slippery like a James Toney inside. And I don't know if Yarde can utilize it that well.
Here's what I'll say about Yarde, though.
Yeah.
He has decent hand speed. For a guy his size, a bulky guy like that who has punching power.
Well, I need to question the following with Yarde because, look, shout out to Appletype, but there could be a halo effect here, right? Where he's looking a lot better against the level of opposition he's fighting, right? Just like you said, right? But
he's never seen anything close to what he's going to see Saturday night.
like he's gonna have to be careful, man. Like I can see Ward making him very comfortable going to the body and just waiting to counter him upstairs. Like he's got to be very careful early in his fight because I wouldn't be shocked if he does catch him and drop him, right? Early. Like do not be shocked if that happens. That's not my official prediction. Just don't be shocked. Yarde does have good hand speed, right? But I have to question the reloading of that magazine, man, because when he shoots that, those punches against a guy like Kovalev, okay, when he's utilizing more energy than he's used to, exerting more energy than he's used to, I can't help but just notice. I mean, he's another bulky guy, okay, he's not ridiculously bulky, but he is a bulky guy. How's that oxygen in those muscles going to be in the second half of that fight?
Yep.
I have to question that. You know what I mean? So is he going to have enough magnitude to reload that gun when he's shooting those punches? What I need to know. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know if he does. And that's why we fight the fights. Yarde has the tools to beat Kovalev, right? But this is a big step up, right? And then the fights in Russia. Mother Russia, okay. You know Putin's got this shit on lock. No, I'm kidding, but
yeah,
Yarde's not going to win a decision in Russia, guys. I think Kovalev wins a controversial decision.
I don't think it's going to decision.
No, okay.
No, one of these guys is getting stopped, in my opinion. But yeah, I worry about the bulkiness, the muscle thing. But here's the thing. Andre Ward did lay the blueprint, and Yarde, from observing what we've seen against 18 opponents who aren't very good, let's keep it real. He does have the look, the potential, let's just say that, of pulling off that upset, but he has the attributes to execute that blueprint. Let me say that. He can go on offensive. He can get cagey with Kovalev. He can go to the body. To me, it all depends on his chin. If his chin is good, he's a live dog in this fight, and he can pull this off.
That's the X factor, right?
That is the X factor.
That's what we just don't know.
And another X factor to me is being in Russia. I'm not worried about the scorecards because I don't really think it's going to go there. But even if it does, scorecards are scorecards. As fans,
this is where it matters, right? It matters in the sense that if Kovalev is like buzzed and in some trouble, right?
The referee.
And Yarde is in the same exact position.
Yeah.
In which case is the ref more likely to jump in and just stop it prematurely?
I worry about the ref more than I do the judges because at least as fans we could say, okay, that's a horrible decision. But the ref can definitely inject himself into this fight. Let's say, for instance, Yarde does go low and then Kovalev goes back low and it gets ugly. How's the ref going to react to that? But to me, the Russia factor plays more into effect in that how is I don't remember the last time Kovalev fought in Russia. So how is he going to fight in Russia? Is he going to come out tight? Is he going to come out super excited and then try to get a knockout early and get, like I said, load up on that right hand, leave it out there, and then get caught with those counter lefts? Is Yarde going to be a deer in the headlights going to Russia? That Russia effect, I mean, it's going to play a big factor here. But all things being even, let's just say it's an even playing field. It's a close fight, man. From what we've seen from Yarde,
got Yarde winning right now.
Yeah, it's becoming a popular pick this week, and that's what I'm saying about the odds. Is those odds are getting closer and closer.
Bet on them.
I'm hoping it's a little bit of a. I'm hoping there's a little bit of a kickback, and then Yarde goes a little closer back up to plus 200.
Where are you Russians at? You got to start rolling. You got to start betting on Kovalev.
I'm hoping some money comes in on the favorite, so where it gets, because if it gets back up to plus 200, I think that's time you put money on Yarde. But like I said, I would be hesitant about that because of all the factors going on in Russia. I worry about boxing. Boxing is a tough thing to bet on, especially in a fight like this if you like Yarde, because
Look, man.
There's a lot of things going on in Russia.
Well, I mean, I joke about it, right? Putin's got it on lock, but hey, you know what I mean? And Putin is a combat sports fan, by the way, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just saying. But
it's almost like fighting Chavez Jr. in Texas.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right. Yo, we do the blood sample. Well, where'd he go? Well, he's already
what
in the
blood sample? And the referee basically becomes his bodyguard.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Where'd he go? What? The dude, he's already in club. He was already in Club 101 here in El Paso after he fought Andy Ruiz. I'm not Andy Ruiz. Andy Lee. All right.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Andy. You know, Andy Lee, Andy Ruiz. Get it? Slipped. Anyway, my official prediction is Kovalev by controversial decision. That's my official prediction. I get what you're saying. This fight could definitely end by knockout. I think it's going to go the distance. I think Kovalev is going to use a lot of veteran tactics to survive here. Okay, so we'll see. Look at this. Somebody dropped $250 lines in the cam. DBL. Okay, all right. There you go.
That's not a bad. That's not a bad bet. All things being even, not a bad bet.
You'll make what, like 300 or something? Get your money back?
Yeah, I mean, close to. It depends on what you got as far as the odds, but I mean, close to somewhere in the mid 300s, close to 4. But I'm interested. I'm gonna watch throughout the week to see if they hop back up to plus 200. I might throw some money down, but I just worry about that Russia factor, man. I can definitely see Yarde outboxing Kovalev, but then the whole Russia thing just it's weird to me. I don't like it.
Well, I'll tell you what. What do you think of that Shao uses and him trying to land body shots on Kovalev? You don't see what I see, like a possible counter upstairs?
Yeah, counter upstairs, definitely. But from what I've seen from Yarde, man, he's slick for a guy his size. He has decent hand speed, and he goes to the body. I mean, that's all the stuff that Kovalev struggles with. A good counter puncher, but have we seen him in there with a guy, like you said, who can establish the jab, establish his real estate? Will he be able to get within range? Will he be able to get within range to land those counters? Will he get shell shocked when he's being hit by big shots? Yeah, all that has to come into play.
But by the way, man, 19 people here, 10 likes. Make sure you throw a jab at that like button, or I swear to God, I'm gonna bring freaking Mayweather Senior over here, right? And I'm gonna tell him. Right? Anyway,
tell him.
Am I crazy for saying it's going to decision?
No, I don't think so. I could. I don't. If Yarde wins, he's not going to win by decision. No. To me, it's more likely that he stops Kovalev, which I think is very much within the realm of possibility.
Look,
but I can see Kovalev hanging on.
Dude, if he lands flush on Kovalev, like right on the button, it's over. Okay, that's how hard Yarde hits. Right. The question is, in the second half of that fight, how is he gonna? How's it gonna go? We will see.
Has all the trappings of a dangerous fight. It just has. It's one of those spoiler. He's a spoiler, man. It's one of those spoiler fights, right?
It's a great fight.
But I mean, when you have that big fight, when you have your biggest payday set up for you, if you win this fight.
I switch. Oh yeah.
And there's no way he's not looking forward to that,
dude. When like
right there within
when Mayweather wanted Shane, he was like, "Yeah, it's step aside money for Barrera." Okay, like we're not even gonna deal with this, bro. Step aside money.
Yeah,
take your 900,000 Barrera and get the hell out of here. Okay?
I would not have fought Yarde here. I would not.
Man, dude, if I was Canelo, I would have sent Yarde some step aside money.
Yeah,
right. But I don't know.
But it's interesting to see what we know what Canelo sees in Kovalev. I mean, that's a big dude. Going from 160 to fighting a real puncher at 175.
Well, the question is,
puncher at 175. What Canelo sees is he can dig into the body.
Well, yeah, that's true. And he has some leverage that Yarde doesn't have in negotiations, right? Like the fight's not going to be in Russia.
No.
You know, it's more likely going to be
he's going to have that Canelo judge.
the Canelo weight
118, 110, even if he loses 8 rounds.
So we know that, man. Okay, what's up to Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens? Will be live tomorrow. By the way, make sure you guys throw a jab at the like button. Okay, follow that jab with a straight right. I think are you referring to Kovalev? Because I do see Kovalev utilizing his right hand here. But I will say that shell, if you use it right, is very good with orthodox fighters. You know, so
I wouldn't utilize the shell against Kovalev though.
So he's gonna get his hands up.
He can punch straight. He can punch straight through that guard.
We will see. By the way, D-Block Express, $612 is the payout. Okay, he
must have got some good odds.
He got that shit early. Okay,
he got that shit early. Or if you find on Just Bet, I didn't see any of the props. So if you bet Yarde by knockout, the odds get better. So you could do something like that. But I didn't see any prop bets on Just Bet yet. We'll see if they come out.
Okay, franchise champ Alvarez fighting at the catchweight of cinnamon weight. That's gonna be the name of his weight class. But in all seriousness, can Kovalev beat an Alvarez twice though? Because he already beat the other Alvarez, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I was actually surprised that he came back nice in that rematch.
Kovalev is 1-1 against Alvarez's.
Yeah. But Alvarez looked to have his number after that first fight. I didn't see Kovalev bouncing back after that fight, and he did. Props to him. By the way,
I can't get that fight out of my head when I think about this fight. Okay, the Yarde fight. I keep thinking about that.
The first fight,
guys. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like that because Kovalev. It showed me that Kovalev could be stopped that way. You know, I mean, he was stopped against War too, but I'm just saying.
I thought he was done after that fight. I really did. I thought he was done.
Yeah.
So props to him for coming back. Avenging that loss, and he could get his biggest payday against Canelo. That's what I'm saying. I would have paid the step aside money and went straight to that fight in October.
Us boxing fans nowadays really count guys out when they lose. But I will say it's not new. Okay, it's not new. Everybody counted out Ali after he lost to Frazier, and then he was a huge underdog against Foreman. Right. In hindsight, we could be like, wow, what were they looking at? But we all do it. You know what I mean? We count guys out after they lose. I think it's probably human nature some, but I don't want to dive too much into that. Anyway, I started the show, right? Usually I'm allowed to do so many letters in a title, right? And Triple G's next opponent, bro, I couldn't fit his whole name, right?
Derevyanchenko
versus
Derevyanchenko.
Wow, Derevyanchenko. Okay, this is the longest name I've ever seen, bro.
I think that for me it's easier because I think I've texted about Derevyanchenko a couple of times, so my iPhone automatically spells it correctly, Derevyanchenko. But yeah, if I didn't have that spell check, it would butcher his name. But good fighter. I think he's overvalued, to be honest. I don't think he's as good as people have been hyping him up to be. And I think this is a great look for Triple G. I said that when Canelo was stripped, when basically it was going to line up this fight. Yarde turned down step aside money for Canelo versus he said to Alvarez, I won't get it. That is true, but I think they still could have got that worked out. I did see Yarde did say he wanted this fight, and Yarde is very confident. That's another thing. He's been talking a lot of trash. He seems like a guy who wants it and is ready.
Yeah. Shout out to Kemal Laws, by the way. I didn't even know that, but hey, we all learn something new every day. So that's interesting. So they did offer him, but good for him. Good for him. He wants to win. He's not going to give it to Canelo. He wants to win.
Well, Kovalev kind of denied that too, but I kind of believe that they did. But I think if they wanted to, they could have still got that done.
Kovalev, they didn't need Kovalev's knowledge, okay, to give Yarde some step aside money.
But they could have got that done if they wanted to. There was enough money. But as far as Triple G goes, this is a great look for him because this is a very winnable fight. Very, very winnable fight for Triple G, and it gets him back in the mix as far as unifying belts and whatnot, and it gets him back in the mix for that Canelo third fight, the trilogy that he so desperately wants. But to me, he can just keep mowing down top challengers in the division until the Canelo fight happens, and
Right.
I think it eventually will happen unless Kovalev spoils it, which we'll see, because that is a risky fight.
We'll see how that goes. However, I'm in the line of thinking that it's going to be a catch weight for this fight, bro. It's just my thoughts on that. But
For what fight? For Canelo?
yeah, it's gonna be a catch weight. He's not gonna fight Kovalev at the same way Yarde is. Yarde is gonna fight him. I hear some feedback though in the background. I'm echoing.
I don't hear you echoing.
No,
No,
I got some echoing, Calix. Are you playing the video?
I am not. No.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what it is. You know what? I think it's me actually. Yep, it's me. All right, it's gone. It was me. I was playing the video. Anyway, with that said, yeah, that was actually me. I was playing the video anyway. But you see, it's gone now. Derevyanchenko. Okay, let me tell you guys something about the longest Shenko of all time. I need Triple G to knock this guy out so I don't have to spell his name ever again. Number one. Okay, number two. The more I look at it, bro, was it really just to force Canelo to fight this dude after Canelo had beaten Jacobs? Jacobs beat Derevyanchenko. Okay, I mean, I'm not even a big fan of Canelo's diva tactics, but I have to be objective and I got to be honest. I think it was not a just stripping.
It wasn't, and a lot of stuff going on with Golden Boy. Canelo's not happy with Golden Boy right now from what everybody's hearing. But, you know, I don't know what's going on with all that. I'm more interested in seeing, where do you see Golovkin's career right now? Because to me, he's sort of at a weird place where people are sort of dropping him a little bit, but he's basically coming off of 2 tough fights with Canelo in that some people think he won that second fight. I felt he won the first fight. I thought Canelo beat him in the second fight. I thought Canelo, I had it like 115, 113, 116, 112, something like that. I thought Canelo, and I thought the second fight was better than the first fight. But I thought Canelo won that second fight. I was pretty confident in that. But Triple G was right there with him. And you could say after those 2 fights that they're basically what and what, right? After those 2 fights.
I mean, you could say that. I think Canelo won the first fight, but
you did?
That's me. Look, it was close. No, actually, I'll take that back. I scored it a draw the day I saw it. The night I saw it, I scored it a draw. But you could argue. I'm not going to argue with someone that thinks Triple G won first fight. Okay.
I thought he won.
Okay.
I thought he won.
But you know, he complained that Canelo was running and then fight me Mexican style. And then the rematch, Canelo was like literally right there. Okay, let's do this then. And then he was the one boxing all of a sudden.
Canelo fought a hell of a fight in that second fight.
And Canelo, in my opinion, I think he clearly won that second fight. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think he clearly won.
It was close, but I was pretty confident in my scorecard that he won the fight. But that's, to me, they were what and what.
You asked where he is. That's where he is.
Yeah, so which that's understandable. But he's still up there though. That's the thing. He's not down here somewhere. Like he hasn't shown any big vulnerabilities to me.
That line is elite level. Like he's right there.
Oh yeah, definitely elite. But 30, what is he, 37 now, 36, 37. So he's getting to that age to where you say, okay, how many years does he have left at the elite level?
Yes.
Does he lose to a Derevyanchenko? I don't think so. I don't think Derevyanchenko is going to be the guy to do it. But I think maybe that's what Canelo is thinking too here is, you know, let me let this bleed a little bit. Let me wait a year, give it a year. And Triple G is 2 fights older. And then I finish him off. Maybe that's Canelo's thinking here. I think that the third fight is just, it's going to happen. It's going to happen unless something derails it. it's going to happen. I don't see Canelo losing. I don't see him losing to anybody at 160, definitely, but I believe he beats Kovalev as well.
Yeah.
So I think Canelo will get even bigger and bigger and bigger, and hopefully Triple G stays there and continues to win, because I think everybody else is very winnable for Triple G, unless he steps up to 168 and bites off more than he can chew, and maybe his power doesn't carry up to 168. But to me, it looks like he's staying at 160, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think, I wouldn't mind seeing Triple G, trying to become a, 2-division world champion. There's dudes at 168 he can beat. But if he's going to do it, he's got to do it like yesterday, like as soon as possible. You know what I mean? Don't wait till you're older and then move up to fight bigger guys. You know what I mean? But it might have to be the right opponent or something. But right now, if he wins this fight, it'll be funny as hell if he wins the IBF title. Then he's like, "Peace out. I'm moving up in weight." But you never know, man. You never know.
He wants that Canelo fight.
And he might fight Canelo 168, speaking about that. But I got to be honest with you, bro. I think Canelo, I got to be honest with you. I think Canelo watches him in the third fight, bro. I just got to be honest. Yeah. I don't see how he beats him.
Watches him. I think saying what he watches him.
You know, old school wash, bro. He's gonna wash that shit. But anyway, no, I think he wins 8 rounds to 4. Maybe that's not a wash, but I think he wins 8 rounds to 4, 9 rounds to 3. And I think he's got Triple G is. I don't think he can do anything different against Canelo. I think Canelo's a little more versatile, and I think he can make more adjustments in Triple G. And I think he's got his number at this point. After that second fight, I gotta be honest.
Canelo's nice, man. He's nice. Did you see this progression coming? Because I mean, he's definitely progressed as a fight. And when that narrative first started happening, like, oh, Canelo's getting better after the Mayweather fight, where I thought he lost all 12 rounds in that fight, which it is what it is. He was a little earlier on in his career, but
right.
You saw him sort of progress, and I thought maybe it's the style of opponents he's facing, but he did, man. He got better each fight. The Cotto fight really showed a lot to me. I thought he fought a hell of a fight against Cotto, loaded up on some shots and got through that fight, which was a close fight going into those late rounds. But I just think he's progressed as a fighter. He's gotten better with his lateral movement. He's gotten better against fighters with lateral movement. His combinations are very good. He can go from defense to offense. He's come a long way since the fights against Lara and the fights against Trout, which was a very close fight against Austin Trout, where he showed some vulnerabilities in that fight.
Yeah, the problem with the Cotto win, it didn't age very well. But that's another story. Because he lost to what's this dude's name again?
Who's that? Cotto?
Yeah, his last fight, Saddam Ali.
Oh yeah. I don't even count that.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I will say though, in closing regarding this topic here, okay. I think Canelo beats him in the third fight. It'll be exciting if they do it though, but. I do agree with people saying, man, I want to see Canelo fight a lot of these guys because, one, I think he could beat them, right? For all you Canelo fans, I'm not like talking shit or hating. Like, I'm just saying I think he could beat these guys. I don't want stones being left unturned. I mean, so, and you never know, man. You fight the wrong dude. Styles make fights. Nobody thought Frankie Randall was going to beat Chavez. Nobody thought that, right?
You know who was a weird fight for him? Although I hate the guy and I think he's pretty much a waste of talent so far, is Billy Joe Saunders. I think he would be a tough guy.
Holy shit.
I can't. I just can't. He's another guy who, he just kind of like Anthony Joshua right now, how he carries himself. It's just he seems like an entitled guy. He feels like he's entitled, and he hasn't really accomplished much in his career. And he has talent. But I think stylistically, he offers a problem for Canelo.
Yeah. I would like to see Canelo. I want to see him fight Charlo, man. I want to see him fight Andrade. I want to see him fight all these guys. Like, I'm all for all the above. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would like to see him fight these guys for sure. So I'm not against that whatsoever. So we will see how that goes. And that's that. Shout out to Scrapbook Boxing, by the way, in the house. Okay, you have to KO Canelo to beat him, says G Funk 84. Because even Mayweather's win was a split win, bro. Okay, which is insane. All right, the middleweight division is better than the one Triple G was feasting on with
Gail.
Gail, okay, and Murray. I remember I should call him Murray. That's a different story. He's a dark horse, Billy Joe. Billy Joe's good, man. He's good.
It's definitely a better middleweight division. I mean, although middleweight heated up there for a little while when Cotto stepped up, Sergio Martinez was there. And you got to remember, Sergio Martinez did not want to fight Golovkin. So you can't fault Golovkin there. I mean, he did not want that fight. Yeah. So it's not like Golovkin avoided some of those guys at that point. That is very much a fight that Golovkin wanted, and Sergio Martinez wasn't fighting him. But
I don't know if Clifton Bronson. I don't know if Billy Joe beats Andrade. I don't know. I got to see that fight.
I think he does. I think he does. Yeah,
that's a tough fight, bro. To me, it's a tough fight. That's a tough fight to call.
Yeah, but once again, we might be overvaluing Saunders because once again, I mean, he hasn't. If you look at his resume, he hasn't achieved much in his career. So we could be over. He hasn't been in there with the top of the top.
Right.
So what's he going to look like against those guys? He's not a big puncher.
Well, he looked pretty decent against the Canadian dude, Lemieux. But
yeah, but a lot of guys look, and that was a fight set up for him. Lemieux comes straight forward, and Saunders does great against guys like that. Yeah.
Anyway, we got a lot of time to talk about Triple G and Canelo, guys. But, those guys, if they end up fighting, they're going to end up fighting. Kelly, I got to ask you a question. I asked it last week. What's going to happen first? Ruiz fights to sign Joshua, or Canelo fights to sign Kovalev or Triple G, or whoever else he's going to fight? What's going to happen first?
I think they got to get this Ruiz-Joshua thing done because – to me, it's a black cloud hanging over Eddie Hearn, and not that he probably cares, but because he's Eddie Hearn. But to me, it's a black cloud that did not go over well with the public. The whole press conference with nobody there. It just seems like they got to get that wrapped up, and I think it just seems like both camps are getting kind of antsy. If you hear Ruiz's trainer talking like, "I want my guy back." I want my guy back losing weight. I want my guy getting ready for camp. Joshua's out there talking trash. So I think they get that done. However, it wouldn't surprise me if after the fight Saturday, Kovalev announces that, or they announce that they have something not on paper, but something worked out, something agreed upon to fight Canelo in October. That would not surprise me at all.
Absolutely. By the way, here is this schedule. Okay, before we move to the last topic, we're running out of time. But scroll down. By the way, go to DStyleBoxing /community here on YouTube. Okay, and vote in the poll. All right, 10 p.m. Eastern time, man. Weekend recap with Hablo Tab. We will be back for sure on Monday with that. Mexican Latino Tuesday. I did a show yesterday with G Funk. Make sure you check that out. Punch a Chance with Ashley Knuckles will be back next week. Calcast on Wednesdays, and DStyleBoxing Live conversations with Reggie Owen. Make sure you check that out. And just last week, man, we had a week and a half or so ago, we had Joe Habib on last weekend, and he'll be on this Saturday, by the way. We're going to have Joe Habib back on to start off Evander Holyfield Real Deal Appreciation Week. Right. With that said, one last topic. All right. Calix.
Yep.
Well, actually, I mean, we could just end the show right now if you just admit that Morales is just better than Barrera in every way, and we're done with the show.
You love some Morales, and I was saddened that I couldn't take part in the terrible week last week. Terrible. But no, man, I wouldn't you have to admit that Barrera has the better resume? Would you agree with that? I'm not saying as far. I would think to me, watching them both fight, I always felt like Morales was more of a more well-rounded fighter than Barrera. I don't know if you agree with that.
Right.
To me, he just the sweet science came out more with Morales. I just loved how he fought. I thought he was head to head, although they were close. It was what and what, right? That's one you could say definitely is what and what. Although you felt that Morales got the better of Barrera, right?
To me, I felt after 3 fights, I think it was clear, in my opinion, that Morales was a better fighter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. Head to head, I feel like Morales was slightly better than Barrera. I just felt like he was a little more versatile. Could do more in the ring, but looking at their resumes, I might give the edge to Barrera over Morales as far as resume goes. So that makes it a tough call.
Barrera just had a hard head, bro. That's all you had. But in all seriousness, look, a couple of things, right? If it's true that Barrera was so much more technically sound, why couldn't he use those technical skills to beat Pacquiao at least one time?
I don't think that. I never felt that way though. I never felt that Barrera was more technically sound than Morales.
Okay. Maybe I misunderstood your point. Were you saying he was more versatile?
No, I'm saying Morales.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I always felt like Morales was a better boxer, a more well-rounded boxer, could do more versatile than Barrera. That's how I always felt. But when you look at the resumes, I always felt like Barrera, as far as the resume go, I would give the slight edge to Barrera over Morales. But head to head, I like Morales a little better than Barrera as well, just like you. It was close, but and overall, I just felt like Morales, like somebody just said in the chat, was more scientific with it. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. Here's my thing. Okay, look, I mean, obviously, I play hyperbole at times, but I know Barrera was a great fighter. Okay, but I just got to be honest, man. It bothers me that every time I see a top 10 best Mexican fighters of all time, Barrera's always on that list. It's hit or miss with Morales. And even when Morales is on there, they're ranking Barrera higher. So do you rank Barrera higher than Morales all time?
It might be one of those A, B things where I rank them on the same line, but A and B. Man, they're so close. I always seem to go more on resume. Okay. But head-to-head, though, head-to-head might take precedence. So I think I would agree with you, but it would be very close. Morales, very close over Barrera. Very, very close.
Like, one narrative I always heard was, hey, look, after their first fight, like, Barrera skyrocketed and Morales went downhill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's always been, I know perception's reality, but that's the perception. You know what I mean?
How do you think that Naseem Hamed fight played into it too? Because Naseem Hamed, probably looking back at it, a guy who was way overvalued, and Barrera just destroyed him. Which it could have been it could have been Morales to do that. How do you think that played into it? Because after that, it really skyrocketed Barrera. Because a lot of people who weren't exposed to lower weight classes were exposed to lower weight classes that night.
Oh yeah,
because of Naseem Hamed.
Naseem Hamed is a big reason a lot of people watch this trilogy. You know what I mean? Maybe not the first fight, but people are just paying more attention to these weight classes in general. So we got to give. And by the way, I mean that guy probably needs an appreciation week one of these days. He retired way back when, though.
Morales won the first fight, though.
Well, here's what I wanted to ask you. Like it's this is what I've always said. Okay, the first fight could have gone either way, right? But I feel like it was close enough to where, like, if the judges gave it to Morales, You can just accept that. That's what I've always said. You know, it's like it's not a. It's just regardless of how you feel, it's close enough to where if 3 judges gave it to Morales, then that's that. Like we should accept that result.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the same way about the third fight.
Yeah, the third fight. The
The
third
third
fight was
fight-
super tight.
Look, it was tight, it was close, but regardless of how you scored it, the judges gave it to Barrera. It was close enough to where it's acceptable. He won, and that's it.
It's like trying to score Pacquiao versus Marquez.
Yeah,
Those 2 guys were made for each other, and so were Barrera Morales.
but
Like De La Hoya versus Mosley. Those 2 guys were made for each other.
But let me ask you this, Alex. Who won that third Marquez Pacquiao fight, in your opinion?
Marquez.
Right. That's how
That
I
was the
feel
clearest. That was the clearest one to score to me, and that was the most surprising one because, and we spoke about that. That the narrative going into that was Pacquiao was going to destroy him because of the weight. But that was the easiest fight to score. The fourth fight was difficult to score. Once again, going into that 6th round. I mean, if that fight would have kept going like we all expected, that would have been another tough fight, just like to score, just like the first 2.
Dude, I feel like the second fight was the clearest one of this trilogy. Like, to me, that was Morales' win. I mean, what do you remember about the second fight?
Same. Morales, I had Morales winning, I mean, arguably all 3.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't say it.
I got to go back and watch him though, because it could go.
Oh, that's it. That's your final position.
It could go anywhere. But all right, let's throw Marquez in that mix. How would you rank him with Marquez in there? Marquez was.
I hate
God,
to do this, but I have to do it per weight class. It's the way I do it. I mean, I rate Marquez above these 2 all time. You know, but
You do or you don't?
I do.
Okay.
But with a caveat, right? With a look, 130 and below, I think Morales is better than all 3 of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Right. 130 and above, I think Marquez is clearly the better fighter of the 3.
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
That's how I rate it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see Marquez. I'm sorry, I don't see Marquez beating Morales at 126 or 130.
You don't think?
No. Marquez had trouble with guys with footwork like that, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and not only that, Marquez is too nice of a guy to, make it personal and get in Morales' head like Barrera did. You know what I mean? So
Morales fared better against Pacquiao than Barrera did. He got a win.
Yeah.
Although the third fight on the canvas shook his head no more. But you won the first fight. He won a fight against Pacquiao.
And he went southpaw.
Yeah. Which was one of the most gangster things I've ever seen in my life. He went southpaw in the 12th round against Pacquiao. That was incredible.
And he was getting lit up with a couple lefts too. Like what did they go back to orthodox?
Yeah, he did.
Every adjective in Spanish, I screamed it out in those, what was it, like 50 seconds, whatever it was. That's a long time to go southpaw against Pacquiao, bro.
Yeah,
and again, Morales is not a switcher, guys. He's not a guy that could, you know what I mean? He was doing it to.
But he was dropping his balls. He was dropping his balls.
He was basically saying, you're not going to have an excuse. Like, I'm giving you a chance right now. That's what it was.
I think even Pacquiao was surprised. Like, okay.
Probably like a good feel like is this a trick? Like, what's going on here? Hold on. You're tricking me, right?
That was a great fight.
Yeah, but great stuff, man. I know it's no longer Barrera, Morales, but I wanted your thoughts on that. Hell of a career for Morales, man. I think he's like, and the last thing I wanted to say before we end this. We're already going overtime, guys. Okay, this Canelo Triple G thing, it always, people say they're not interested, but when you mention
That's what I'm saying. Everybody, they can say what they want. Everybody wants that trilogy.
I know nobody shuts up about it. Okay,
right.
but here's my thing. I think Morales did better in their older age than Barrera. All Barrera did was go to UK and lose to Amir Khan. That's all he did. Well, what else did he do in his older age? Okay, and the tail end of his career. That's all he did.
Yeah.
Headbutt with Khan to stop the fight. He lost on the scorecard. Samir Khan, bro.
I forgot he fought that fight.
That's all he did. Freaking
Right.
Morales, bro. Arguably, you can argue beat Maidana.
I know that was, which was a shock to both
I
of us.
couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You could argue if he wasn't mocking, because he was mocking Danny Garcia. Late in that
First fight.
He was mocking the way he was throwing punches. He was making a miss, and he decided to mock him. Then he got knocked down and turned the whole fight around. You could argue you could have won in the scorecards. I mean, it could have happened.
Yeah.
This after Danny Garcia just destroyed Amir Khan. You know? So, just saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, I see some comments here. One more. Morales would probably outbox Marquez, but with Marquez's power, you never know. One big punch could change the tempo of a fight. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you. Morales was a very versatile fighter. He beat the junkyard dog at his own game. Okay? He fought an inside fight to prove a point against Ayala, bro. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this dude was something. All right? And by the way, the Cano fight, that fight kind of aged pretty good. You know? Remember Pablo Cano?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not saying Pablo Cano's a big, you know, like, but I'm saying, given his age and all that, Cano did pretty good pretty decent for himself later on. So, and he got
late. That was late in his career. Very late in Morales' career.
Yeah, definitely.
That was one of his wins late in his career.
Does Triple G, Calix, I'll give this to you. Does he KO Derevyanchenko, the longest damn name?
Yes. I don't even know if that's spelled correctly. I got to check my iPhone.
I don't even know. Nobody knows how to spell that without, like, no one can spell that name without spell check, okay? Or like, don't bullshit me, guys. All right? Make sure you guys throw a jab. Let me see. We're at 20 likes. And we're at 19 likes. Can I have one more like? Does anybody have a like to give me? All right.
By the way, Floyd's not fighting Triple G. Not happening. No. That was one of the comments.
Floyd's retired, bro. I just guessed. Yeah, you know, I will say that I also believe that Triple G, I don't know if he'll KO him, but he's definitely going to win against Derevyanchenko.
Oh, he's stopping him. He's stopping him. I'm telling you. He's stopping him.
Finally, will Calix admit that Nonito Donaire has at least a 1% chance against Inoue?
No.
1%.
Yeah, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So I'll give him a 0.5% chance, and then we're coming for Neary.
All right.
By the way, did you see Neary switch trainers? Neary changed.
No, I'm not. What happened?
He went with Reynoso. He's with Reynoso now.
Oh, with the Canelo's dude?
Yeah, so he changed trainers.
Shit.
Canelo's dude's putting together a nice stable.
Bro, now I know Inouye's in trouble. So I don't know, man. I'm not that high in Reynoso. I know I've been calling for Canelo, but you know, it's not like he's holding Canelo back in terms of what Canelo does in the ring. So
I think that's Canelo has a good head on his shoulders, man. I think he's smart and he knows what he's doing.
Oh, like Floyd, like nobody really told, like,
right,
dude, like Floyd.
But you look at what Cotto did late in his career when he switched trainers. That did give him a second. And usually, guys are who they are at that point in his career. But Cotto, when he did switch trainers and got more offensive minded, started fighting on his front foot more. That served him well. And I agree with you. I don't think that Canelo's getting the most out of his talent with his stable, with his training staff. But who am I to say that?
Hey, Triple G, these guys don't want to use the jab, bro. Hey, it's a job, you know. It's box, you know. It's a job. And this is a big drama show. Calcast Wednesday, big drama show.
The big drama show.
The big drama show's over. So
Mexican style,
right? The big drama show, bro, is over. Look at this. It's a wrap. Okay?
It's a wrap.
Okay. By the way, the Triple G Derevyanchenko was supposed to be like a little segment. This shit blew up. Okay.
Like always.
They're giving this dude. What's this gonna give?
0.5.
Bonaire 0.5%.
That's all I'm giving him. Look, Inui is gonna run through him and take over the
You
world.
forgot the less sign, like the less sign and then 0.5%. You know, like because
Inui is ready to take over the world.
By the way, before I get out of here, all right, True Boxing Talk Back by Fan TV. Shout out to my Texas brother DStyleBoxing. Bill Haney said Reynoso was the truth on the show yesterday. I'll check that out, man. Damn. All right, so shout out to True Boxing Talk, by the way, and shout out to everybody for showing the love, man. And by the way, Callie, before you go, and shout out to, again, thanks for the support, man. Hey, we got to do a Hellstorm Sports reunion show at some point, you know?
Yeah, I was watching the old video earlier. He was dropping some one-liners like crazy.
Bro, that shit. I forgot how good those shows were. Okay? So, I'm telling you, bro, I was like 50 pounds heavier, but it's okay.
You got to drop some more of those. You got to drop some more of those.
Yeah,
some
you
of those old ones
too. But,
I know.
But yeah, there you go. I have those on lock. We're gonna release those. Listen to True Boxing Talk every morning, guys. All right, go subscribe. With that said, this is DStyleBoxing, and like old times, as they just said right there. All right, and what do we say?
Keep it boxing.
Didn't land anything. All right, keep it boxing, guys. Peace.